I do have to say that this quarter has proven to be a very challenging period. And whilst we have experienced supply chain and logistics challenges along with the entire industry, the limitations of our logistics system have compounded the challenge. In the first half of 2022, we produced 1,405 vehicles. So, as a result, we are reducing our 2022 production guidance to a range of 6,000 to 7,000 vehicles. Our revised outlook guidance for the year reflects the logistic challenges I described as we began scaling, which exposed the immaturity of our logistics processes.
In this video, my favorite Saudi asset, Lucid Motors, is on life support after a catastrophic quarter, massively slashing production estimates again in what is going to be a recurring theme as Lucid circles the drain on its way to bankruptcy. If only we could have seen this coming. Plus, Tesla stock marches higher still, closing in on $1,000 per share. So let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. First up, today Tesla stock moving higher once again, closing in on $1,000 per share, up 2.25%, $922 per share. You know it's coming. Ready? Still, in my opinion, the best risk-adjusted opportunity that I'm personally aware of in the stock market. The reason I've said this about 600 times in a row in the last 600 videos in a row is because it's still true. The Nasdaq 100 today up 2.75%. Apple stock up nearly 4% today. Alphabet stock up 2.5% today. Amazon stock up 4% today. In other words, sea of green across the board. Rivian stock up 4.5%. Lucid stock up 4.2%. Oh, hang on, that was before the earnings after hours. Yep, down 12.6% after hours on stunning earnings results. And I think the only people who would actually be stunned are the people who own Lucid stock, because I'm not going to explain that. The bell curve continues to be real, not only with Lucid stock, but Nikola up today 7.5%, leading into their earnings report. Can't wait for that. And lastly, the ARK Innovation ETF, stunning day, up over 6%. And now on to the truly unexpected disaster that was Lucid's Q2 earnings. I'm so surprised to see this happen. I cannot believe the company has reduced their production forecast for the full year. I definitely didn't see this coming. In fact, there's definitely no videos on this channel of me literally saying, hey, these publicly stated production targets from Lucid, 20,000 vehicles for 22, total bullshit. They don't even believe they're going to do this. Watch them. They'll get adjusted multiple times. Well, here we are. I was right. Again, goddamn, I'm so sick of being right. First up, this tweet from Gene Munster sums things up perfectly. Lucid is making Tesla look good. Lucid just cut its full-year production number to 6,000 from its original 20,000 estimate. Of course, I use the term estimate extremely loosely because at the time, if you're curious to fact check me, search the channel for Lucid videos, watch them all, you'll hear me. I called out their production target for the full year in 2020 as absolute horseshit. No chance, they don't believe it, it's not going to happen. It'll get revised down many times and well, here we are. So the fact that this has happened shouldn't really surprise anyone who's grey matter works. Just saying. Stock is down 12%. It doesn't matter if they blame it on supply chain or blame it on the rain. Tesla is doing a better job of navigating this mess. Now, in fairness, I'm sure Lucid weren't expecting as many difficulties and challenges relating to supply chain and logistics as happened in the quarter. But these challenges aren't the primary reason for this massive shortfall. What's that thing that you might have heard somebody say repeatedly discussing EV startups? Prototypes are easy, production is hard. Lucid are discovering that, yes indeed, production is hard. And here's a tweet from Gary Black. Lucid missed Q2 badly, delivering just 679, that's 679, not 679,000 vehicles, and posting net revenues of 97 million versus 147 million estimated. For 2022, Lucid now forecasting just 6,000 to 7,000 production versus previous 12,000 to 14,000 guidance, which by the way, was a reduction from the earlier 20,000 guidance. So we've now gone from 20 to 12, 14 to 6. As Elon Musk says, production is hard. Lucid down 12% after hours. And this absolute gem from Gary, didn't realize the guy was such a fucking comedian and a savage. Listening to Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson on an earnings call talk in his exaggerated British drawl about Lucid's unprecedented demand amid continued manufacturing challenges is like listening to a bedtime story from Grandpa while the house is burning down. 10 out of 10 tweet from Gary Black there. Summed that up perfectly. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. Let's have a listen to Grandpa's bedtime story, a few highlights from Lucid's earnings call, and then some reactions in the mainstream finance media. And just a quick heads up, the first 30 or so seconds I'm playing from these earnings call highlights is the disclaimer that opened up the call. Don't worry, I'm playing it at 2x speed. It's not really what words were said, it's just how many goddamn words were said. All things to the effect of, well, don't rely on anything we ever say on this earnings call because it might not be true, and or we might make mistakes, and or we might have to revise our estimates down, and or don't make investment decisions on anything we say on this earnings call, blah, 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 blah. All of the Tesla stock investors watching may recall the very short disclaimer from Tesla's earnings call. A couple of sentences. We're making forward-looking statements, blah, 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 blah. Let's get into it. Meanwhile, Lucid has this. It's almost like a get-out-of-jail card. Pay close attention. And the reason I want to emphasize this gigantic legal disclaimer up front is because some of the shit that Lucid have been saying in the past, more than a year ago, in fact, 2+ years ago, were completely absurd statements at the time. I'm literally calling them out. There's no way this is happening. They don't believe this. It's absolute bullshit. Watch what happens. And of course, if they didn't have a legal disclaimer there, they'd be in big fucking trouble. Misleading investors. I mean, misleading dumb investors. Probably wouldn't use the term investor then, I'd just call dumb people who bought Lucid stock. It's important to understand this. If you start your earnings call off from such a weak position, where you have the most bulletproof, airtight, ridiculous legal disclaimer, just making sure that you don't get in trouble by any of the statements you make on this call about the future. If you read between the lines a little bit, it may be an indicator that you're not as confident in some of these forward-looking statements as, well, you should be.
Before handing the call over to Peter, let me remind you that some of the statements on this call, particularly those regarding the future financial performance of the company, production and delivery volumes, macroeconomic and industry trends, company initiatives, and other future events, are based on the information that we have as of today and include forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements are subject to numerous risks, uncertainties, and other factors that could cause actual results to differ from expectations, and we refer you to the cautionary language and the risk factors in our quarterly report on Form 10-Q for the quarter ended June 30th, 2022, as well as other documents filed or to be filed with the SEC for a fuller discussion of such risks, uncertainties, and other factors. Forward-looking statements made during today's call speak only as of the time they are made, and we are under no obligation and expressly disclaim any obligation to update, alter, or otherwise revise any forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information, future events, or otherwise except as required by law. You are cautioned not to place undue reliance on these forward-looking statements.
In Q2, we continued to see strong customer demand for our vehicles, with over 37,000 customer reservations as of today. That's an increase of more than 7,000 in the quarter, up from the 30,000 reservations as we reported last quarter.
This is useful information. Now, it's not a perfect proxy for demand, but let's do some simple math here. 7,000 additional reservations in the quarter. If we analyze that, that would be 28,000 additional reservations and or sales for an entire year. Does this give us a hint at underlying demand as it stands for Lucid's products? Now, in totally unrelated matters, can someone remind me how many vehicles did Tesla deliver last quarter? Just for some reason, it seems to have slipped my mind.
Now, this 37,000 figure does not include our agreement with the government of Saudi Arabia to purchase up to 100,000 vehicles, which is entirely incremental. Nor indeed does it include potential reservations for our forthcoming SUV, the Project Gravity, nor even potential reservations for Lucid Air in markets outside of North America, Middle East, and Europe.
Now, what Peter is saying is true, but to me it also reeks of desperation. In essence, what we've just heard is the reservation number doesn't actually include reservations for products that don't exist yet, and also it doesn't include reservations for products that aren't available in other markets yet. So in the future, when we have new products and release our vehicles in other markets, we're going to have more reservations. Don't worry guys, we're not going bankrupt. But thank you, Peter. It's really useful as a potential Lucid investor to be aware that you're not counting reservations for products that you're not taking reservations for in your reservation count. Thanks.
As such, we're very pleased with the reaction from customers and the excitement surrounding Lucid Air. And we believe that as we get more of our vehicles into our customers' hands and expand our test drive program, that our momentum will just continue to build. However,
one word you most definitely do not want to hear on an earnings call of a company attempting to ramp to volume production of compelling electric vehicles without going bankrupt in the process is however.
With all that positive momentum, I do have to say that this quarter has proven to be a very challenging period. And whilst we have experienced supply chain and logistics challenges along with the entire industry, the limitations of our logistics system have compounded the challenge.
Credit where it's due. This is an honest admission. I appreciate this from Peter. Takes some balls to say things that are true but aren't exactly great. We've just heard Rawlinson, CEO of Lucid Motors himself, disclosing that their logistics systems have compounded the problems. In other words, they got some serious shit to fix when it comes to logistics. If you don't know what logistics refers to, moving all the shit around to make sure you can make the things and sell the things for the money that you need to not go bankrupt. So you got problems with logistics, you're on your way to bankruptcy.
And although we continue to face supply chain constraints, the resolution of some earlier gating component supply issues allowed us to push toward increasing the production rate. And as we attempted to push forward the rate, we found that our logistics constraints prevented us from scaling meaningfully this past quarter.
Further reiteration, Lucid have got some shit that needs fixing ASAP. Not surprising, but it's good to hear this being at least explained to investors.
For example, our ability to feed the correct parts to the line at the correct time and cadence, where each car is built with thousands of parts, and do this whilst maintaining a high Lucid quality build standards.
Something. Prototypes are easy. Production is... What was that word again? 4 letters. Production is... I forgot. Someone let me know in the comments below. What production is... What? Easy? Simple? Automatic? Nah, that's not the word, is it?
In the first half of 2022, we produced 1,405 vehicles.
Hey, not bad. Nearly 1,500 vehicles produced in the first half of the year versus Tesla's 565,000, give or take. So ballpark, first half of 2022, Tesla produced about 400 times as many vehicles as Lucid. Not 400%, 400 times. And in totally unrelated matters, it just so happens that Tesla's market cap is less than 30 times that of Lucid. Now, I'm not suggesting that this means that Lucid or Tesla's under or overvalued. I just thought I'd point that out. It is also worth reminding everyone watching that Tesla has fingers in many pies that Lucid currently does not. Oh, and also, the bell curve is real.
These were factory-gated vehicles, and this means that they're completed and ready for delivery to customers. But in Q2, we also made a significant number of vehicles that we did not factory gate, instead electing to hold them back in order to ensure that these cars met the highest standard of quality.
If we read between the lines here, which is very important to do, what we're hearing here from Pete Rawlinson, Grandpa, bedtime story, is that many of the vehicles produced in this quarter was so shit, especially given the high standards that Lucid as a luxury vehicle maker need to maintain, that they were unsaleable and therefore couldn't be sold. This isn't to say that eventually they'll get quality under control. It's just important to understand, what's that thing again, something about prototypes and production, and one of them's easy and one of them's not? More evidence. If you've got vehicles coming off the line that aren't up to scratch, that can't be sold to customers, that's also a problem. A big one, an existential one, in fact.
Remember, quality must take a priority over volume as a luxury brand, and I'll touch on quality a little bit later. Now, from a production standpoint, we had both planned and unplanned pauses in the quarter that resulted in approximately 2.5 weeks where we had no daily production at the factory, in addition to pauses of a more transient nature related to supply chain and logistics issues. At the same time, we did also experience some unplanned production pauses, primarily in order to improve our logistics processes, which, as I stated earlier, became more apparent as we started to scale.
It almost seems as if Lucid is discovering, as they attempt to scale up production, that what's that thing again? The words let me think here. Production is... what's the last word? I keep forgetting. I think they're learning that thing that I can't remember how it goes. Something about production not being easy.
So, as a result, we are reducing our 2022 production guidance to a range of 6,000 to 7,000 vehicles.
I am so shocked I cannot contain my shock. Wow, I definitely did not see this coming. And if you happen to search on this channel for videos about Lucid in which it seems like I did see this coming and literally predicted it, you've obviously found a deepfake, because there's no way anyone could possibly have foreseen Lucid slashing their production targets repeatedly, given how absurd they were at the time they were made. Now, on a serious note, I do want to address this. I know a few people may have some questions here. Stephen, why do you hate Lucid? Why do you want them to fail? I don't hate Lucid, nor do I want them to fail. I really hope they are successful. And you might also wonder, hey Stephen, why do you say such terrible, mean things about people who buy Lucid stock, like they're morons, they don't have a brain, they're one part of the bell curve, and so on? Why are you so mean? Well, you see, I'm just trying to save people who aren't super smart from losing large amounts of money that they probably can't afford to lose. I don't know a better way to do it. Someone says, hey, I bought Lucid stock, what do you want me to do? Go, hey, good on you, buddy, yeah, all the best, yeah, they've got a really cool product, yeah, you know, I love the unicorn tears and the wiper fluid and the woolly mammoth pube stitching in the seats, great, yeah, go. I like the accent of the guy that runs a company too, it makes me trust him a lot more. Yeah, good luck with your investment, man. Or am I just going to go, are you seriously brain damaged, dude? Like, hello? Hey, I'm just trying to help.
Our revised outlook guidance for the year reflects the logistic challenges I described as we began scaling, which exposed the immaturity of our logistics processes. Now, moving on to the deliveries. Last quarter, I highlighted that we delivered well over 300 vehicles in the month of April. In Q2, we delivered 679 vehicles to customers. They are so engaged because, just like me, they really want to build the world's best cars, and just like me, we want to do that in volume. And believe me, we're working tirelessly to make that happen. And so I'd like to personally thank all of our employees for their sheer dedication and for working alongside me, shoulder to shoulder, right here in the factory.
It's good to hear that Pete Rawlinson has been shoulder to shoulder on the production lines in the factory trying to solve these problems. Of course, what else are you going to say on an earnings call that is an absolute fucking catastrophe? Oh yeah, I wasn't even in the factory. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm an idiot. Of course, you're going to tell people, you know, rally the troops. Oh yeah, I'm on the ground, you know, making sure everything's solved, you know, blah, 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 blah. So obviously, Pete's going to say this, but just remember, while Grandpa is telling you this bedtime story, the entire fucking house is on fire. Whether or not he's shoulder to shoulder with anybody, the house is still burning down.
I am conspicuously aware that the true value of having what is now widely recognized as a truly exceptional car can only be achieved by producing it in a meaningful volume. And that is why my laser focus, and indeed that of our Lucid team, is right here in Arizona, unlocking the path to our volume ramp up. Make no mistake, although frustrating, this is a phase of our growth as a company that we will power through.
Well, that's very reassuring. We will power through, but back to the disclaimer at the start of the call about forward-looking statements and yep. Good luck. I wish you all the best, Pete. I know you will power through, but if you don't, you're not going to be liable for that statement because, you know, disclaimer. So, And now a couple of very quick reactions in the mainstream finance media.
Lucid shares sliding on second quarter results.
Q2 revenue of $93.7 million. That's a miss. That she was expecting $147.05 million. There was had a smaller loss than expected of 33 cents a share adjusted EPS loss versus 34 cents a share estimated. Now the big thing is the production cut for 2022. They're now seeing 6,000 to 7,000 vehicles this year. That was cut from 12,000 to 14,000 that they had originally had said. And then that actually was a cut from 20,000 that they had said in Q1. So a big kind of deceleration in their deliveries here and their production here, kind of weighing on the stock right now. They did say they have 37,000 pre-orders for Lucid Air, but they only produced 1,400 cars so far in 2022. Peter Rawlinson, the CEO, is quoted as saying, quote, "Our revised production guidance reflects the extraordinary supply chain and logistics challenges we've encountered. We've identified the primary bottlenecks, and we are taking appropriate measures, bringing our logistics operations in-house, adding key hires to the executive team, and restructuring our logistics and manufacturing organization." They've announced a new hire here in their operations department as well. So for the call, we're going to want to hear more about this production cut, what's happening there, what's happening at the Casa Grande facility, their factory there. Want to hear more about that. Want to hear more about the Project Gravity SUV. Is that still on track? That might be a question mark given the fact they can't get enough Lucid Airs out there. So back over to you, Dave. I want to monitor the call and also this earnings release.
I look at this company, I look at the price for its vehicles, $154,000 for the Air Grant, $107,000 for the next one, they had better be good because that is a premium price automobile. That's a niche within a niche, Danielle. What do you think of this stock?
You know, Tyler, I completely agree with you. I'm a huge Tesla fan, first of all, but I don't like the stock at all.
It appears I have at least two things in common with Danielle.
What I can tell you about the fundamentals is it doesn't look good. It's been trading on the lows. However, what I have to say about this stock is that it's one of the most heavily shorted stocks in the market. And the problem is that this earnings season, we're seeing a trend in which companies will report slightly better than feared and rally. So when I'm looking at Lucid, I don't like the company. I don't like it to the long side on a fundamental perspective. But look at the chart. Right now, we're up against some previous highs. We've already rallied going into earnings. The stock has about 22% high short interest, and it has an incredibly high cost to borrow, around 14%. So what that means is that if we end up getting a large move on earnings due to any kind of surprise, I would say $4 or $5 move to the upside, this could really set off a massive short squeeze.
So, a catastrophic quarter for Lucid. Shocking. Nobody could possibly have seen this coming. It's not like prototypes are easy and production is hard. As I said, I really genuinely do wish Lucid all the best. I genuinely do hope they will be successful, and I genuinely don't think they will survive the decade. Despite having a near limitless supply of future cash, should they need it, as they are currently sucking directly from the teat of the Saudis. And while I continue to believe that Tesla stock, in my opinion, is the best risk-adjusted opportunity in the stock market, at least that I'm aware of, I think the reverse is probably also true for Lucid stock, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Lucid will make it? Will they survive the decade? And lastly, don't forget you can join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. I've just dropped a couple of new exclusive videos, some seriously controversial stuff, and I really mean that, by the way, guys, like massive trigger warning. Do not play either of the most recent two videos at work near any of your friends and family because, yeah, just be careful. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel, and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.